Welcome back to the deep dive.
Yeah.
This time we're going on a journey.
Yes.
Through some fascinating writings.
Right.
On meditation.
Yeah.
And spirituality.
Right.
From India.
Yeah.
We've got excerpts from a meditation manual.
Right.
That's more than just a how-to guide.
That's true.
Think of it as a deep dive into a whole system of thought.
Uh-huh.
Complete with history, philosophy,
Yeah.
and some truly surprising ideas.
That's right. We'll be dissecting this material,
Okay.
highlighting the most thought-provoking parts, and showing you how they connect to the broader world of spiritual practices.
Right.
Get ready for some serious aha moments as we decode the wisdom embedded in these texts.
Okay, so let's unpack this.
Yeah.
From what I've gathered, the source material is like a personal journal woven into a meditation manual.
That's right.
We're not just getting dry instructions.
Right.
We're getting personal reflections, historical insights, and philosophical musings, which makes it all the more intriguing.
It seems the author wanted to immerse you in their world to help you understand not just what to do, but why it matters in a much deeper sense.
And that why seems deeply tied to a specific spiritual lineage. The manual emphasizes this chain of transmission from teacher to student, starting with Lalaji Maharaj, the founder of this lineage.
Right.
Then there's Babuji Maharaj as his successor, a really prominent figure in the text. And finally, we have the author's own guru, Raghavendra Rao Sahib, who appears to be the direct source of much of the manual's wisdom.
It's fascinating how this idea of direct transmission
weaves through the entire text. This passing down of knowledge and spiritual energy through generations is like a sacred thread, a living link to ancient practices.
This lineage points us toward the ultimate goal, which the manual calls Layavastha in Brahman, essentially meaning merging with the ultimate. But hold on, this isn't just about achieving some blissful state, right?
That's true.
You're saying the goal is actually dissolving the boundaries of the individual self.
That's a great way to put it.
Okay.
The manual presents this merging as the highest aim of human life, the culmination of the spiritual journey. And it doesn't just stop at the concept. It actually outlines stages of consciousness a practitioner might experience on this journey to merging with the ultimate, giving you a sort of roadmap.
Okay, so we've got the lineage, the ultimate goal, and even a roadmap. But what about the specifics of the system? What makes it tick? What are some of its unique elements?
Well, one that stands out is the emphasis on something called the divine light in the heart. This concept pops up constantly through the meditation instructions.
This divine light sounds intriguing. Is it just a metaphor? Or is it something the practitioner is supposed to actually experience?
The manual describes it as a source of cleansing, guidance, and spiritual illumination. It's almost like an inner beacon. Imagine you're meditating, focusing on your heartbeat.
And suddenly you experience this divine light. What do you think that would feel like?
That's a great question. It does make you wonder about the actual experience. The manual also mentions transmission, or pranasya pranaha. It's described as a transfer of spiritual energy from the guru to the student, almost like a jumpstart for their spiritual progress. So we're not just talking about knowledge transfer here. There's an energetic component as well.
Exactly.
You mentioned the guru transmits spiritual energy, but isn't that a bit far-fetched?
Well,
how can energy be transferred like that?
Well, it's not about a literal transfer of energy as you might think of it. It's more about the guru using their own heightened state of consciousness to facilitate the student's spiritual growth. It's a subtle process.
Okay.
Described more like an attunement or awakening.
Okay, that makes a bit more sense.
Yeah.
So there's this lineage, this divine light, and this energy transmission from the guru.
Right.
What else stands out about this system?
Another intriguing concept is that of the 5 koshas, or sheaths, these are basically layers of human existence that the practitioner works through on their spiritual journey.
The 5 koshas. They're described as layers, but how should we picture them? Like peeling back layers of an onion.
That's a good analogy.
To reveal the core of your being.
It starts at the physical body, then moves through the energetic, mental wisdom, and finally the bliss sheaths.
So it's a progression through different dimensions of being, culminating in a state of bliss.
That's the idea.
Okay.
But we'll delve into the specifics of each kosha and their relevance to the path later.
Okay.
Right now, let's get into the heart of the matter.
Okay.
The meditation techniques themselves.
Okay, let's do it.
All right.
What's the practitioner actually doing when they sit down to meditate in this system?
The manual outlines a very clear approach.
Okay.
It emphasizes focusing on the heart, specifically the sensation of the heartbeat as the primary point of concentration.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's not something you find in every meditation tradition. Wouldn't focusing on the heart be distracting for beginners who are already struggling with a busy mind?
That's a good point.
Yeah.
It might seem counterintuitive, but the text explains that the heartbeat is a constant rhythmic presence that can actually help anchor the mind. It's like using the body's natural rhythm to quiet the mental chatter.
So it's a way of utilizing a physical sensation to steady the mind.
That's right.
I'm starting to see how this approach is distinct from other meditation practices I've encountered.
Exactly. And alongside this heart focus, there's the mental repetition of a sacred name or mantra. In this case, it's Ramchandra or Raghavendra. This repetition further helps to quiet the mind and cultivate a sense of inner stillness.
So it's a combination of focusing on the physical sensation of the heartbeat and the mental repetition of a mantra. That's a really unique approach.
That's true.
But it's not just about sitting there and focusing.
That's right.
The manual also puts a lot of emphasis on cleaning as part of the practice. What exactly does that mean?
You're right.
Cleaning is key.
Yeah.
It's about purifying both your thoughts and actions. Both during meditation and in your daily life.
It's not about scrubbing your aura with spiritual soap. But seriously, what does it actually involve? Well, it involves actively engaging with your thoughts and emotions. It's about striving to live in a way that aligns with your spiritual goals.
So it's not just about what you do during meditation, but how you live your life as a whole.
Precisely.
That's a pretty holistic approach.
It's about integrating spirituality into every aspect
of your being.
This cleaning process sounds pretty intense, almost like a deep inner cleanse, but it seems to prepare you for something even more profound. This divine light that the manual keeps mentioning. What's that all about?
That's a great observation. And we'll explore that next. The divine light is really at the heart of this system and the experiences it aims to cultivate.
I'm definitely intrigued. It seems like there's a lot more to unpack here.
Absolutely. This is just the beginning of our deep dive into this fascinating spiritual system. You're right. There's so much more to explore. Remember how we talked about the divine light being described as a source of cleansing guidance and spiritual illumination?
Yeah, it was almost like an inner sun or beacon.
But the manual uses a lot of metaphors to describe it. What are some other ways this divine light is depicted?
Yeah, it's often described as a radiant light. Emanating from the heart, a source of warmth, clarity, and spiritual guidance. It's also associated with qualities like love, compassion, and wisdom.
So it's not just a literal light,
Right.
but a symbol of something much deeper. It represents the essence of the divine within each of us.
Exactly. And the manual also links the divine light to the lineage of teachers.
That's right. I remember that connection. What's the significance of that?
It suggests that the divine light isn't something you create on your own. It's a living transmission passed down through generations of spiritual masters. It's like a torch being passed from one teacher to the next. And by connecting with this lineage, you tap into a powerful stream of spiritual energy and wisdom.
It's a bit mind-blowing to think about the potential of that kind of transmission. But you said earlier that the guru is more like a catalyst.
Right.
And the real transformation happens within. So how much emphasis is placed on the individual's effort in this system?
While the guru plays a crucial role, the manual makes it clear that your own inner work is ultimately what drives your spiritual progress. The practice itself is designed to help you cultivate the qualities needed to experience the divine light and progress toward that merging with the ultimate.
Okay, so let's dive back into the specifics of this practice. We touched on the heart focus and mantra repetition. But what else is involved?
One thing that's emphasized is the importance of finding a quiet and comfortable place to practice. Ideally, somewhere you can sit undisturbed for a period of time.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
You need the right environment for deep inner work. But what about the posture? We're talking about complicated yoga poses here.
Not at all. The instructions guide you to sit with your spine erect, but not rigid. The idea is to find a posture that's both alert and relaxed.
So it's about finding a natural and sustainable posture that allows you to settle into the practice.
That's right.
Then comes the heart focus. Right?
Yes. The instructions are very specific about bringing your attention to the heart. They talk about feeling the actual sensation of the heartbeat as the focal point of your awareness.
So it's not just about visualizing the heart, but actually tuning into its physical presence.
Right.
That seems like it could be challenging. Especially with all the mental chatter that usually accompanies meditation.
You're right. It can be challenging. That's where the mantra comes in. The mantra Ramchandra or Raghavendra is introduced as a way to further refine your focus. It's not meant to be chanted out loud, but repeated silently in your mind.
So it's like a gentle undercurrent of sound beneath your awareness of the heartbeat. And this combination helps to quiet the mind and draw you inward.
That's right.
But what about the cleaning we discussed earlier? How does that fit into the actual practice?
Cleaning in this context is about purifying your thoughts and actions, both during meditation and in your daily life. It's not just about sitting there trying to blank out your mind. It's about actively engaging with your thoughts and emotions. And making choices that align with your spiritual aspirations.
But how do you actually clean your thoughts? Sounds a bit abstract.
The manual offers some specific techniques. One involves observing your thoughts without judgment. Simply noticing them as they arise and pass away, like clouds in the sky. This helps create a sense of detachment. So you're not getting caught up in them or letting them control you.
But that makes sense. You're creating space for inner stillness and clarity. But the manual also talks about cleaning. In relation to your actions. What does that look like in practice?
It's about striving to live in a way that reflects your spiritual aspirations, being mindful of your words and deeds, treating others with kindness and compassion.
So it's about embodying your spiritual practice in your everyday life, not just compartmentalizing it to your meditation sessions. That's pretty demanding.
It can be challenging, but the text suggests this inner and outer cleaning is essential for progress on the path it emphasizes. That true transformation requires us to face and purify
Okay.
All aspects of our being.
I can see how that would lead to a deeper level of self-awareness.
Right.
It's not just about achieving a blissful state, but about purifying and refining all aspects of your being.
Right.
This brings me back to the 5 koshas, or sheaths, we discussed earlier.
Yeah.
Can you elaborate on those?
Absolutely. Remember, the koshas are described as layers of human existence, starting with the physical body and moving inward through the energetic mental wisdom. And bliss sheaths, think of the Manomaya kosha, which is the mental sheath.
Yeah.
Like your mental operating system, it processes thoughts, beliefs, and perceptions, just like you need to update your phone's OS.
Okay.
This practice helps you upgrade your mental software.
That's a great analogy. So the spiritual journey involves purifying and transcending each of these sheaths to ultimately realize the true nature of the self.
Precisely. And each sheath has its own unique qualities and challenges.
Can you give us an example of how these sheaths play out in our experience?
Sure. Let's take the Annamaya kosha, which is the physical sheath. This relates to our physical body. And our experience of the material world purifying this sheath involves taking care of our physical health, nourishing our bodies with wholesome food, engaging in mindful movement, and creating a harmonious relationship with the material world.
It's about recognizing that our physical body is a sacred temple.
Yeah.
And treating it with reverence and care. What about the next sheath?
The second sheath is the Pranamaya kosha, which relates to our vital energy. This includes our breath, our emotions, and our overall vitality.
So it's about the life force that animates our being. How do you purify this sheath?
Purifying this sheath involves cultivating practices that enhance our energy flow, such as pranayama or breath work. It also involves learning to manage our emotions in a healthy way.
It's about becoming aware of the subtle energies within us and learning to harness them for our spiritual growth. What about the third sheath?
The third sheath, the Manomaya kosha, relates to the mind. This includes our thoughts, perceptions, and beliefs. Purifying this sheath involves learning to quiet the mind, overcoming negative thought patterns, and cultivating a more positive and expansive mental state.
It's about recognizing that our thoughts have a powerful impact on our reality. And learning to use our minds as instruments of our spiritual growth, rather than letting them control us. On to the fourth sheath.
The fourth sheath is the Vijnanamaya kosha, which relates to wisdom and intuition. This is the sheath of higher knowledge and understanding.
So it's about moving beyond the limitations of the rational mind and tapping into a deeper source of knowing.
Exactly. Purifying the sheath involves cultivating discernment, developing our intuitive faculties, and connecting with our inner wisdom.
It's about recognizing that true knowledge comes from within. And finally, the fifth sheath.
The fifth and final sheath is the Anandamaya kosha, which relates to bliss and joy. This is the sheath of pure awareness and spiritual fulfillment.
So it's about experiencing the ultimate state of unity and peace.
Exactly. Purifying the sheath involves letting go of all attachments, surrendering to the divine, and resting in the pure bliss of our true nature.
It's about realizing that true happiness is not found in external circumstances, but in the depths of our own being. This concept of the sheaths is so fascinating.
It is.
It's like a roadmap for the spiritual journey.
It helps us understand the different layers of our being and the challenges we might face as we progress on the path. It also makes you realize that spiritual growth is not a linear process. It's a dynamic and multifaceted journey that involves all aspects of our being.
So it's not just about reaching some final destination, but about the transformation that takes place along the way.
That's a beautiful way to put it, this concept of the koshas. Makes me think about the interconnectedness of everything.
Right.
We're not just isolated minds and bodies, but complex beings.
Yeah.
With multiple layers interacting with the world around us.
And speaking of interconnectedness, we keep coming back to the role of the guru in this system.
Right.
I'd love to understand that a bit more. We touched on this earlier.
Yeah.
But I think it deserves a deeper dive.
Absolutely. The guru is seen as an indispensable guide on the spiritual path.
Right.
Not just a teacher imparting information, but a conduit for spiritual transmission, a living embodiment of the lineage.
You mentioned this transmission before. So they're not just imparting information, but transmitting a kind of energetic awakening.
Yeah.
I'm still struggling to wrap my head around that concept.
I understand it's definitely a concept that goes beyond our usual understanding of how knowledge and experience are shared.
Right.
Think of it like this. The guru has walked the path themselves and has achieved a certain level of spiritual realization.
Through their presence and guidance, they can help awaken those same potentials within the student.
So it's less about a transfer of something concrete and more about an awakening of something that's already present within the student. Almost like a tuning fork vibrating at a certain frequency, causing another tuning fork to resonate at the same frequency.
That's a great way to put it. It's about resonating with that higher vibration embodied by the guru. And remember, they've also walked the path and can offer guidance based on direct experience, not just theory.
That makes a lot of sense. It's like having a seasoned guide to help you navigate a challenging terrain, someone who's been there and knows the way.
Exactly. And the guru is also seen as a source of support and inspiration, someone who can help you stay motivated.
And overcome obstacles on the path.
I'm starting to see why finding a true guru is such a big deal in this system. But how do you know if you found a true guru? There must be a lot of people claiming to have this kind of spiritual authority.
You're absolutely right. And that's a question that deserves its own deep dive. It's a process of discernment and intuition. But for now, I think it's important to remember that the guru is not meant to be a crutch. They're there to guide and support you. But ultimately, your own inner work is what drives your spiritual progress.
The guru is a catalyst, but the real transformation happens within. That makes sense. And this brings us back to another central theme. In this system, the emphasis on direct experience. It's less about dogma or belief and more about discovering truth through practice. It's like the saying, don't believe anything I tell you. Try it for yourself.
That's a great way to summarize it. The text repeatedly emphasizes that intellectual understanding alone is not enough. You have to put the teachings into practice and see for yourself what unfolds. It's like the difference between reading about swimming and actually jumping into the water.
You can study the theory all you want, but until you experience it firsthand, it remains conceptual. That's a great analogy. But if this system is so focused on direct experience, what's the role of faith?
The text suggests that faith isn't about blindly believing something. It's about having trust in the path and in your own capacity for awakening. It's more about a willingness to experiment and see for yourself.
So it's about having an open mind and a heart that's ready to receive the truth. It takes the pressure off, having to have all the answers up front.
Exactly. It allows you to approach the practice with a sense of curiosity and wonder, like a scientist conducting an experiment.
This is all starting to make a lot of sense. But I'm curious about how this system views the relationship between spirituality and everyday life. Does it advocate for renunciation? Like withdrawing from the world? Or is it about finding the sacred in the mundane?
From what I've gathered, this system suggests that spirituality is not something separate from life. It's about integrating your spiritual practice into every aspect of your being.
So it's not about escaping the world, but about transforming it from within.
Exactly. The text emphasizes the importance of living ethically, cultivating compassion, and serving others. It's about bringing your spiritual value into your interactions with the world.
Seeing the divine in everyone and everything.
Precisely. It's a powerful vision.
Yeah.
It suggests that spirituality is not just about personal growth, but about contributing to a more compassionate and awakened world.
Wow, this has been a really insightful exploration so far.
It has.
We've covered so much ground, from the history and lineage of this spiritual system to its core practices, the concept of the koshas, and the role of the guru.
Yeah.
And we've only just scratched the surface.
There's still so much to explore.
Right.
But I'm curious to know what's standing out to you so far.
Honestly, it's the emphasis on direct experience and the idea that true transformation comes from within. But the concept of spiritual transmission from the guru is also intriguing.
Those are great takeaways. And for me, it's the emphasis on simplicity and accessibility. This system offers a clear and practical approach to meditation that anyone can integrate into their life.
I agree. It's also inspiring to see how this tradition weaves together ancient wisdom with contemporary insights.
Absolutely. It's a testament to the timeless nature of spiritual practice.
It makes you realize that the search for meaning and connection is something that's resonated with humans for centuries.
That's right. And this system offers a unique path for those seeking to embark on that journey.
Okay. I'm ready for the next leg of our deep dive.
Yeah.
Where do we go from here?
Well, we've talked a lot about the mechanics of the practice and the concepts behind it.
Right.
Now let's explore how it all comes together in the context of the spiritual journey itself. We've covered the foundation of this system, the practices, the concepts, and the role of the guru. But what does the actual journey look like for someone following this path?
That's what I'm really curious about. Is there a set timeline for progress? Does the manual talk about what someone might experience as they go deeper into this practice?
Well, the manual emphasizes that spiritual growth isn't linear.
Okay.
It's not like climbing a ladder where you reach a certain rung and you're done. It's more like a spiral with periods of rapid progress, plateaus, and even setbacks along the way.
So it's a dynamic process unique to each individual.
Exactly. The manual avoids laying out a rigid timeline or specific stages. Instead, it focuses on the overall transformation that takes place as you refine your practice and deepen your understanding. It's about embodying the teachings in your daily life.
That makes sense, but it also sounds a bit vague. Are there any hints about what someone might experience as they progress?
The text does mention that as you purify the different koshas, you might experience greater clarity, emotional stability, and a deeper connection to your intuition.
So you're saying that having a guru is like getting a supercharge for your spiritual practice. They help you accelerate the process of purifying those koshas.
That's a great way to put it. The guru's guidance and transmission can definitely accelerate the process. But remember, it's still ultimately up to the individual to put in the effort and cultivate the qualities needed for transformation.
Okay, that brings me back to the core practice of focusing on the heart and repeating the mantra. How does that simple practice tie into all these profound concepts we've been discussing?
That's a great question. The practice may seem simple, but it's designed to work on multiple levels by focusing on the heart. You're not just calming the mind, you're also cultivating a deeper connection to your inner self, to that divine light within. And the repetition of the mantra helps to purify the mental sheath, Manomaya Kosha.
It's like those two simple actions are subtly working on multiple layers of your being, leading to a gradual purification and transformation.
Exactly. It's a subtle but powerful process. And remember, this system emphasizes the importance of direct experience over intellectual understanding. So you're not just thinking about these concepts, you're actually embodying them through your practice.
So instead of getting caught up in the complexities of the philosophy, you're diving in and experiencing the transformative power of the practice firsthand.
That's the essence of it. And as you progress, you start to experience the world differently. Your perceptions shift, your relationships change, and you find a deeper sense of meaning and purpose in your life.
It sounds like a profound and ongoing journey of self-discovery.
It truly is. And remember, this deep dive has only scratched the surface of this system. There are layers upon layers of wisdom embedded in these teachings.
Well, this deep dive has certainly given me a lot to think about. It's been fascinating to explore the interconnectedness of the practices, the philosophy, and the potential for transformation in this system.
I agree. It's a testament to the power of human consciousness and the potential we all have for awakening and self-realization.
And it's a reminder that there are many paths to explore on this journey.
Absolutely. The beauty of spirituality is that there's no one-size-fits-all approach.
Well, thank you for guiding us through this fascinating deep dive. I'm sure our listeners are going to have a lot to ponder after this episode.
It's been my pleasure, and for all of you listening, remember, the most important journey is the one you take within yourself.
That's a beautiful way to end this deep dive. Until next time, keep seeking, keep exploring, and keep diving deep.